And then I wrote R.O.S.E in 2016, kind of like going, I want to come back with like a record that really feels like me. And if you listen to the second half, that half of the album that I wrote on Sweet Talker, the R.O.S.E album makes sense.
Right.
But if you're listening to Bang Bang and Price Tag and Burning Up and Masterpiece, you're like, what is this album?
Yeah.
So for me, it was a natural evolve.
Yeah. So if you're a hardcore Jessie fan,
you know that R.O.S.E made sense.
Yeah,
Some people was like, what the hell is this left R&B album?
Yeah.
But for me, it was songwriting, songs. Obviously, it was from my experience from being 27 to about 32. And so I loved that album, man. I did all the creative, everything was in-house, like the label were hardly involved. And that's when I really started to realise, like, I'm not supposed to be signed to anymore.
Got it.
Or like, I'm not supposed to be signed to this label.
Because you were doing all the work.
Yeah, and like...
And not getting any input.
Yeah, you know what?
You were just getting on with it.
Yeah, and I'm also not someone that lives, breathes, eats, sleeps this.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a baby. I wanted to like do other things. Like I've got other passions, and so anyway. So I wrote the R.O.S.E album, and the label just weren't. I could feel it wasn't like a we're in this. So I tried to leave then, and it didn't work. And honestly, this whole story we'll talk about. I've had about 80 managers. So yeah. So I'm literally like, okay, let me put this R.O.S.E album out, and it did really well. Like I did my first US tour was in 2016.
Oh,
other than these random like
yeah.
gigs
So,
that I did.
so
like,
that's the first time you actually
like
toured a
shows,
body of work.
Like an album.
Yes.
Can we crack a window, please, Mark? Thanks so much. And so did the R.O.S.E album, which I loved, and then it was about 2018, 2019. Then COVID hit.
Oh wow.
Right. So I had 2019 off.
This is good context. It just gives
people
an understanding.
Where time, like, it does fly, but it wasn't like I stopped working.
Yeah.
Like 2019, I did the Lasty tour in the summer. That was either 21 or 2020. Yeah, so I was in the studio. That's when I went back in the studio. It was about 2020. I went back in with Ryan Tedder. So that was when I was like, right, let me give this one last hurrah and see if we can make this work with Republic. Let's go. And I just kept getting passed around A&Rs.
Yeah.
And every A&R, God bless them.
Are you including me in that?
Yeah. Like everyone wants to do it their way. Like,
100,
like managers want to bring in their own accountants, their own lawyers, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
like,
just for context, people, me and Jessie have worked together in a professional capacity.
as him being my manar.
I was a manar.
Yeah, so got passed around A&Rs, went in, made an album before the one with Ryan in 2019 during COVID. So that's what I'm trying to remember myself. So I wrote this album in 2019, like just different songs. Went back in to kind of go, what am I going to do now? Do I go more pop? Do I stay R&B? Like, do I even care? Is a bit of everything? So I kind of saw it as like a songwriting thing. Excuse me. So I wrote all these songs, and then got another A&R, and then went in with Ryan, wrote an album that I loved with Ryan, and then I got into a car accident. Right as we were going to release the album, I released a single called I Want Love, and then I was hit in the back of my car about 40 miles an hour, and it wasn't a big accident.
It was just a bit of a shunt.
Yeah,
Whiplash.
so my neck moved and my larynx moved up about 1.5 inches, so I couldn't sing for a year. So I had severe acid reflux.
Yeah.
So I never performed I Want Love anywhere. I love my fans, because when I sing it now, they still sing word for word. And then I got diagnosed with Meniere's disease at the end of 21. So I went deaf in my ear, and then I tried to have a baby on my own, and then I had a miscarriage, which was awful. And then at that point I was still doing acoustic shows in LA just for fun, just because. And then in 2021, after I had the miscarriage, I got another A&R, and then they wanted to write another album. So I had this Ryan Tedder album that just was so expensive to make.
The madness of the music industry.
And then I was just like, okay, so now I'm making another album. So I wrote another album about grief, about loss, about pain and sadness, and trying to find my happiness. And then I got pregnant. I met Hanan, had Sky. That was in 22, I got pregnant.
Real life.
Yeah, in 23 I gave birth. So then I was a mum. And then I was like kind of trying to figure it out. And then I was 6 months pregnant, and I said to the label, I have to put out music. We need to put something out. I'm pregnant. I'm inspired. I'm back. I've got the fire back in my belly. And it was just like
they didn't come
it
with
was
the
like
same energy.
shaking a hand with a wet lettuce.
Right, okay. They didn't
It
come
was
back
not
with
the
the
same energy. And we put up the pre-save, and it was go, and then no one responded to my emails. I'm probably saying too much right now.
No,
this is real life.
But this
know?
is real life. I mean, you know, some people like to look
and you know what? It's much to my own fault though, because I wasn't hungry. I've got ADHD. I'm either really hungry, I'm off.
Yeah.
So when you're off and then you go, I'm hungry now, people aren't just going to be like, okay, we're here for you. I didn't have the right management team that were like, I did have the right people working with me. I love Jessie Peters. She's my fave.
Yeah.
But just didn't have the right managers that were guiding it the right way. And so I never forget it. I was 6 months pregnant. I had sold out Shivers for Empire for 2 nights on my own. And I was singing new music and trying to like get the fire going in the label. And I just like, this ain't it. I've just got to surrender. And I was embarrassed because I'd gone public, and I knew that if I went public with this song, then everyone's like, she's back. No, she's not. She's back.
You just get caught in
I'd
between.
already done it with I Want Love. It was like, I Want Love. No, I don't. I'm back with this, and no, I'm not. And so I performed it. I got a choir hidden in the audience. I paid for everything. I got all the content. And I just texted Monty and Avery and just said, look, it's time.
It's brave.
It's time. They couldn't say no because I was pregnant.
Yeah.
No. So I met up with them in London. I said, look, I love you guys. I know that you love me. There's a mutual respect, but it's time.
Yeah. So you parted amicably.
Amicably, like.
And that